Welcome back. The knife therapy for today is the Rainier Knives Fastpak. This knife comes in at $109 without scales and $149 if you want to add the micarta scales to it. There's 3 different color variations, and their knives are designed, produced, and assembled in the USA, which I love to see. The Fastpak would make a great EDC fixed blade that you can just drop in the pocket or conceal it on your belt, and you won't even tell it's there. Now let's take a closer look at this classic drop point. Alright, you can get the knife with a full flat grind like you see here, or you can also get it in a saber grind, your choice. They have different colors of micarta, like I said, the natural black and OD green, and it comes with a very nice Kydex sheath. With the black, comes with a soft loop. You can get it in green, orange, or brown as well. So I love to see the options. I love the fact that they went with LMAX steel here, and they Rockwelled it at 61 HRC. That's good as well. It has good toughness, high corrosion resistance, which is great for high humidity areas like where I'm at in Louisiana. You have a very attractive stonewash blade finish there. That's going to hide wear really well, in my opinion. Nice sharpening notch that clears that plunge, and you have some sharpening life back here before it starts to widen up in the back. You have a nice needle-like point for piercing. And now why don't we do some cutting with this and see how well it performs. The knife came with a pretty good edge. However, I was starting to do the testing and the footage got messed up a little bit. So I ended up having to resharpen the blade. I sharpened it to 600 grit and then stropped it up. The knife's very fast. It was going through this cardboard really quickly. Decently thin blade stock, good geometry, and good steel as well with a well done heat treat. At least that's how it felt whenever I was doing the sharpening. The handle on the knife is very comfortable, good thickness to the scales, and it really filled out the hand nicely. Works great for light duty cutting. That doesn't require a ton of pressure. However, once I started applying more and more pressure, felt like the knife was kind of wanting to twist in my hand, and I don't really fault it for this because I don't think it's meant for this type of cutting. I'm showing it right there. It's just it's narrow. It's not a wide handle, at least. Thickness is good, like I said. No hot spots to speak of, and definitely was a joy to use, especially now. Got a better edge on it, and it is slicing very well. Takes little to no effort to push through that banding. You can tell it has a nice sharp edge to it, and I love the drop point blade. That tip is nice and low, making it perfect for tip leading drag cuts like in this leather right here. And there's still more than enough belly for those slicing cuts, especially in the pinch grip, and you still have great control, and the edge at this point still feels outstanding. It's popping through this bungee cord rather easily. Usually if it's not a sharp edge, it'll start ripping the material. Now I did kind of bind up on this. I don't know, I might have been getting tired. It gets through it just fine, and the geometry is pretty well. It's a stone washed, like kind of like a polished stone washed blade, so you know, I don't know. It did much better on the bigger one, and you can watch right here, it just goes through that like hot knife through butter. That's another, you know, slicing motion where you're just kind of rocking down on it. And then we get here, and once again, this is where I can tell the edge is still outstanding because I'm just dragging that knife through the material and it's not binding up in the least. We get started on the sisal rope, and right away it's making nice clean push cuts. The edge still has a good bit of bite to it, and I could definitely have cut a ton more of rope, but as you'll see toward the end, I run out of rope, and I was super tired from testing multiple knives before this one, so maybe next time I'll try to focus on just one. That way I can get the full, performance out of that knife. I was still able to make 40 cuts though. The knife still has a really good working edge, and after the testing, I took it to the strop, did 10 passes on a 1 micron diamond gunny juice, and brought the edge back to hair shaving sharp. Well, this one was a lot of fun to test. Now let's take a close look at this handle. You have a nice micarta handle scale right here, natural micarta with some milled lines. Hopefully that's coming through on the camera. Gives you a little bit of added traction, and the micarta itself gives good traction as well, so like seeing that. You also have a nice little palm swell right there that fills out the hand fairly well. You have like a 50-50 choil here, half into the scale, half toward the ricasso. Very nicely done. I like the full size blade. It's going to be legal in a lot of areas, pretty much everywhere. It's under 3 inches and very, very usable. You have a bolt-on scales with Torx T8s on them. Very nicely done there. You have a hidden lanyard spot right there. Very, very nice. It's going to keep it out of the way of your hand and give you something extra to grab a hold to if you have larger size hands. The ergos were absolutely phenomenal for my hands throughout the entire testing. The only thing that I noticed is, like I said before, is whenever I was doing those more pressure cutting circumstances, felt like the handle was going to kind of twist in my hand because it's a little narrow in this dimension, but it does have some nice thickness to it, so your normal everyday EDC task is going to work just fine. Also, something else they added in the front right here, you have a 1/4 inch slot for a bit right there. I guess in a pinch, if you had to use that, it works. I did try it out, but not something that I'll probably use. The weight on this knife is very, very impressive, even with the micarta. They did a great job of skeletonizing the frame of the knife, and they also pocketed the micarta scales. Let's check it out on that scale. First, we'll check it out with the Kydex and the soft loop. 2.67 ounces. That is outstanding. And without the sheath, 1.81 ounces. That is amazing. Some quick size comparisons and some knives that this will be beaten out. We have the Artisan Cutlery Sea Snake. They're about the same length. The Rainier knives Fastpak is a little bit shorter. You have the Essie Azula. It's a good bit shorter, but this is a much chunkier, heavier knife compared to the Fastpak. Last two, we have the Bradford G. Necker and the LT Wright Patriot. Love the Patriot. The handle's just a little sharp for my liking, and I like the Bradford as well, but it's a thick, chunky boy, so the Rainier got them two beat out as well for me. All right, now for the nitpicks and complaints. I had to really reach deep on this one. You got this drive right here, but to use it, you got an exposed edge, which could be dangerous. If they wanted to, they could maybe cut out the spot right here in the scale, so if you did want to use that, you didn't have to worry about that live edge being near you. Even though that's not something that I'll be using, so it doesn't bother me any. Also, if they want to, they could add a little bit more width to the handle. That'd be great for the pressure cutting. However, this is a small knife. I don't really think that's its intended purpose, so it's not really, it's just being really nitpicky. And one thing I would have liked to see, I would have liked, instead of a soft loop, which are something that you could add on, I wish it had a pocket clip attachment to clip onto the pocket. I have some of those, but it'd been nice to have, something they came up with. Final thoughts. I think the value is there. It's USA made, good materials, excellent performer, and it's a featherweight. So I highly recommend the Rainier Knives Fastpak. They have one other model. I think it's the Base Camp. It's a little bit bigger knife than this one, not by much. I definitely think I'll be picking one of those up to check out as well. And I will leave all necessary links in the description for the knife and for Rainier Knives. Awesome people over there. They've been super informative and always commenting on my pictures. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.